A few more and important applications of operational amplifier. Here is the list of applications that will be discussed in this lecture, starting from basic comparator, Smith trigger. Although the Smith trigger and the basic comparator, both of them fall in the category of comparator, but Smith trigger is a special type of comparator. Followed by log amplifier, anti-log amplifier. In these two type of amplifiers, the output voltage becomes a function of the input voltage, in function of the natural logarithm of the input voltage. So that is why a log amplifier is called a log amplifier, because it produces an output voltage in terms of the natural logarithm of the input voltage. Anti-log amplifier, on the other hand, is just the reverse one. That means the output voltage becomes a function of the input voltage or the exponential function of the input voltage. So that is why it is called as anti-log amplifier. And the last one is the precision rectifier. So there I will discuss a lot regarding the precision rectifier, because although we have general purpose rectifier based on diodes, the bridge rectifiers and half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier also, but still we need precision rectifier in order to rectify within a range of voltage which falls starting from some micro volt to some 600 or 500 millivolt within this range, because a diode cut-in voltage or the threshold voltage is around 600 to uh, 500 millivolt. So we cannot rectify any kind of signal having less than this cut-in voltage or the threshold voltage of the diode. So therefore we need a special type of rectifier that is called precision rectifiers, and that will be discussed in this lecture. This one represents very basic circuit diagram for a comparator using the operational amplifier, where the input voltage is applied to its non-inverting terminal and a reference voltage with which the input voltage will be compared is connected with its inverting terminal. However, these configurations can also be altered. That means V reference can be connected to the non-inverting terminal, and the input voltage can also be connected with the inverting terminal. Now, for a comparator, we know the operational amplifier uh, operates in open loop configuration, and for an open loop operation amplifier, we know the output voltage is proportional to the difference of the voltages applied to its two input terminals. So the total output voltage will be the difference of the input voltages multiplied with the open loop gain A. This we know. Now, if this open loop gain of the operational amplifier goes to infinity, so we know the Vi becomes equals to V reference, because the difference becomes zero. If you divide the V naught by this infinite gain A, then obviously this V naught divided by A will result in zero, and Vi minus V reference becomes zero, so that you can conclude by this equation. What does it mean? It means that if you keep the reference voltage fixed at certain voltage, suppose for example the V reference, consider it is at zero potential. That means either you can set this voltage source at zero, or you can directly connect this inverting terminal to the ground. Whatever it is, for the time being I am considering the reference voltage is zero. Now if the input voltage becomes slightly greater than the reference voltage, which means the input voltage is becoming greater than the reference voltage by a very small amount, and that very small amount is nearly zero. If input voltage is greater than the reference voltage by a very small amount, then from this equation we can say that V reference is zero for the time being I am considering, and Vi is a very small positive voltage compared to the zero voltage. Then due to presence of this infinite gain, output will go to infinity, but the output voltage will be limited by its supply, and its supply is known as plus VCC and minus VCC. Since the positive the Vi voltage is applied to its non-inverting terminal, and Vi is slightly greater than the zero voltage, which is the reference voltage, the infinite gain times the slightly uh, positive voltage will make this output voltage to reach at the plus Vsat. This Vsat represents the saturation voltage, and this saturation voltage is basically the positive power supply, and it will switch to the positive power supply. And when the input voltage is slightly less than the reference voltage, that means when this voltage is 0 and this voltage Vi is slightly less than this reference voltage, then Vi becomes negative. In that case, the magnitude of this V0 will reach to the the VCC, but due to presence of this negative sign, uh, this V0 will reach to the minus Vset, which is equivalent to the minus VCC, or most negative supply available for this configuration. So this is basic operation of the comparator, and this one represents the transfer function for the comparator. This is the output and this one is the input. Now when Vi is equals to V reference, so output is equals to 0, but whenever Vi is slightly or greater than Vi becomes greater than V reference by a very small amount, which is close to 0, then instantly the output will switch to the plus Vset. Similarly, when Vi becomes less than the V reference by a very small amount close to 0, then instantly the output will switch to the minus Vset, which is equals to the most negative supply available for this circuit, and that is this minus VCC. Now let's consider that Vi is a sinusoidal voltage, and this is the V reference, and here I am considering the peak value of this input sinusoidal voltage is greater than the V reference. Now instead of the 0 reference voltage, I am considering the V ref has some V reference is a positive value. Therefore this is the input voltage Vi, it is oscillating, and V reference which is less than the peak amplitude of the input voltage. So that is why I'm assuming somewhere in between over here. This is the DC voltage. This reference voltage is a DC voltage I'm assuming over here. Now, since input voltage is applied to its non-inverting terminal, so when the input voltage is less than the reference voltage, you can see from here. So until the input voltage is reaching this particular point, so by that time input voltage remains less than the reference voltage, and the potential to the inverting terminal becomes higher than its non-inverting terminal, then your output will switch to minus Vset, and it remains there until the input voltage is crossing the reference voltage, and at this instant the input voltage is just crossing the reference voltage and becomes greater than the reference voltage, and then the output is switching to the plus Vset, and it remains there until the input voltage is coming back and again crossing the reference voltage towards the negative directions, and at this instant the input voltage is crossing the reference voltage, and the output voltage again switch back to the minus Vset, and in this way as the input voltage is also oscillating, the output voltage is also oscillating, but the input voltage is a sinusoidal voltage, whereas the output voltage is a square wave. You can see from here, and basically the square wave represents the instants where the input voltage is crossing the reference voltage. So when the input voltage crosses the reference voltage from the negative to the positive direction, so the output voltage also switches the output voltage from the minus Vset to plus Vset. Similarly, when the input voltage switches to the from the positive peak to negative peak, the output voltage switches from the plus Vset to minus Vset. In this way, the output is being maintained. So this is a basic uh, functionality of the comparator. This transfer characteristics represents the transfer characteristics for the ideal op amp. Uh, because when Vi becomes greater than V reference by a very small amount, and that small amount is close to 0, then output switches to the plus Vset. In a similar way, the output switches to the minus V set when this Vi becomes slightly less than the V reference. And this instantaneous change of the output voltage uh, takes place over here due to the infinite voltage gain of the ideal op amp. But a practical or non-ideal op amp has a finite voltage gain, and due to that, uh, we should have such kind of characteristics, because we know a finite voltage gain is represented by a linear region within a transfer characteristic. So this linear region represents the finite voltage gain, which means when Vi and V reference fall within this region, that is within the linear region somewhere over here, then the output gets amplified by a finite voltage gain of this A. But when Vi and Vi minus V reference, this difference becomes greater than certain point along the x-axis, that means at this point corresponding to this corner, so the voltage on this x-axis corresponding to this corner, if Vi minus V reference become greater than that particular voltage, then output saturates to the plus V set. Similar way, when Vi minus V reference becomes less than to a voltage corresponding to this particular corner around this, then the output switches to the minus V set. Otherwise, the operational amplifier works as an amplifier. This dotted line represents that if the non-ideal op amp has some offset voltage, if it has some offset voltage, then this point switches somewhere over here if it has a positive offset voltage. If it has a negative offset voltage, then it should shift somewhere over here along the negative x-axis. Having basic idea on this comparator, I'm now going to discuss the Schmitt-Trigger circuit. Here you can see that the reference voltage is connected with its non-inverting terminal, whereas the input voltage is applied to its inverting terminal, which is just opposite configuration of that I have discussed in my last slide or last case, where I have discussed the basic principle of the comparator. Now here the reference voltage is actually the voltage appearing across this R2, and voltage across the R2 is the part of the voltage of the output voltage. By using the voltage divider rule, here the potential across the R2 is the reference voltage over here. Now this circuit should work as a comparator because it is a positive feedback. Since this is a non-inverting terminal and no reactive elements are used over here, so phase shift from the output to the input is zero. So therefore, it is a positive feedback. And as we know, with positive feedback for any amplifier, a positive feedback increases its voltage gain. So here also, the operational amplifier itself a high gain amplifier if it is a non-ideal amplifier, and by applying this positive feedback, the gain also increases more than that. So therefore, this operational amplifier should work as a comparator with the reference voltage across the R2. Now, as we know, the when an operational amplifier is in comparator mode, the output voltage should have two values, either plus Vset or minus Vset. Now, this is the reference voltage V reference. V dash I am considering. V dash is a V reference, which is equals to V naught times R2 divided by R2 plus R1, because the reference voltage is the voltage across this R2, and potential across the R2 is the part of the potential, part of the output potential, output voltage. So that is why I'm having this such kind of expression for the V reference. Next, when output voltage, as I told, the output voltage should have two values, either plus Vset or minus Vset. So when the output voltage is at plus Vset, so the V reference is renamed as the upper threshold. And why it is upper threshold? Because with V naught equals to plus Vset, the reference voltage should have a positive value, and that is why it is called upper threshold. And when the output voltage V naught attains its negative peak, that is the minus Vset, then the reference is called lower threshold, and which has such kind of expression with negative sign preceded by the expression. And here is a plot how the threshold voltage is changing when the input voltage is varying. When the input voltage is less than the upper threshold voltage, so for the time being I'm considering the output voltage is at plus VCC or plus VSAT, and that makes the reference voltage to reach the upper threshold voltage. And when the input voltage is less than the upper threshold voltage, so the input voltage is less than the upper threshold voltage, which means the potential at its non-inverting terminal is greater than that of the inverting terminal, which represents or which means the output voltage is attaining its positive peak or the plus VSAT. So when the input voltage is less than its upper threshold voltage, output voltage remains to its plus VSAT value. And when the input voltage is just crossing the upper threshold voltage, at this potential input voltage, at this point input voltage is crossing the upper threshold value, and there the output is switching from the plus VSAT to minus VSAT. And when it is at minus VSAT and input voltage is still increasing, the output voltage remains at this minus VSAT value. And on the other hand, when the input voltage is decreasing while the output voltage is at minus VSAT, then the output voltage or output state cannot be changed until the input voltage is crossing the lower threshold voltage, because when the input voltage uh, crosses the upper threshold voltage, the output voltage is switched down to the lower threshold voltage, and input voltage when started to decrease, although the input voltage becomes less than the upper threshold voltage, but right now there is no voltage like this upper threshold voltage, because the new threshold voltage is set at this lower threshold voltage, which is on the negative side of this x-axis. So therefore Vi has to be less than the lower threshold voltage to bring up the output voltage to the plus VSAT. And that is why when the input voltage is becoming less than the lower threshold voltage, then only the output is switching up to the um, upper threshold voltage. And when the input voltage is still decreasing, so there is no change will take place in the output voltage, because output voltage will remain in the upper threshold voltage. But during that time, the, the threshold voltage is changed. So when the input voltage will again switch back to the positive direction, there is no lower threshold voltage, because due to the upper threshold voltage, the threshold voltage is changed to the upper threshold voltage, which appears somewhere on the positive direction on the x-axis. So therefore, in order to change the state of the output voltage, the input voltage must cross this voltage level at this point. And in this way, we can have such kind of plot. So when input voltage becomes greater than the upper threshold voltage, the output should switch down to the minus VSAT, and when input voltage becomes less than the lower threshold voltage, then only the output can switch up to the plus threshold voltage. The operation of the Smith trigger is represented over here using the sinusoidal's input. So first of all, I'm assuming the output is at plus VSAT, so that the reference voltage is set at the upper threshold, and I'm assuming the peak amplitude of the sinusoidal input is greater than the upper threshold as well as the lower threshold. So that means the negative peak of the input voltage is greater than the lower threshold, and positive peak is greater than the upper threshold. Now initially, since the reference voltage is set at the upper threshold voltage, so and the input voltage is applied to the inverting terminal and the upper threshold voltage is applied to the non-inverting terminal, so until this input voltage is reaching the upper threshold voltage, or it is less than the upper threshold voltage, so during that time the potential at the non-inverting terminal of the operational amplifier is greater than that of the inverting terminal, so output remains at its positive saturation voltage, which is plus VSAT. And when the input voltage is crossing the upper threshold voltage, the output switches back to the minus threshold voltage, and at that instant of time, the reference voltage is changed to the lower threshold voltage, and right now there exists no upper threshold voltage. The reference voltage exists for the potential corresponding to the lower threshold voltage. Therefore, when the input sinusoidal voltage is propagating over the time, and it should cross the reference voltage equal to the lower threshold voltage in order to change the state of the output. Therefore, the output of the operational amplifier can change to the plus saturation voltage only when the input sinusoidal voltage becomes less than the lower threshold voltage, not the upper threshold voltage, because right now there exists no upper threshold voltage. And at this instant of time, since the input voltage is input voltage becomes less than the lower threshold voltage, the output switched back to the positive saturation voltage. So right now, due to the plus Vset which is attained by the output voltage, the threshold voltage or the reference voltage is set as the upper threshold voltage. And now when the input voltage becomes greater than the upper threshold voltage, then only another switching will take place. So in this way, we can have a square wave for the Schmitt trigger. Here is the basic circuit diagram for the logarithmic amplifier or log amplifier, where an NPN bipolar junction transistor is placed at the feedback path of the operational amplifier, where the emitter is connected with the output voltage of the operational amplifier, base is grounded, and the collector is connected with the inverting terminal of the operational amplifier. And the input voltage is also connected, also applied to the inverting terminal through the resistance R1. And the inverting terminal, this point is at virtual ground, because we know for an operational amplifier or which has a infinite voltage gain, the difference in potential between these two input terminals always will be zero. So since the potential or the voltage at its non-inverting terminal is zero due to this ground, so the potential at this point will be zero. So it is at virtual ground. Now, basically, the potential at its collector and the base are same. So we can consider that a base and collector are common, or they are connected, because we know from the discussion of the current source, current sink circuit earlier in my lecture, you have seen the when the collector and base has a similar potential, either by connecting them physically or by putting them to equal potential. Such kind of configurations is called the diode connected configuration, and for a diode connected configuration, the collector current follows this expression. So IC becomes equals to Is times e to the power V naught divided by Vt. But V naught is placed with a negative sign before that, because in general the expression includes the VBE plus VBE, but here the base to emitter voltage is equals to the minus V naught, because V naught is at the emitter, where base to emitter should appear over here. So therefore minus V naught represents the minus base to emitter. So V naught is basically equals to the emitter to base voltage. So that is why negative V naught is appearing over here. And from this IC can also be uh, written in terms of the VI divided by R3, because for an ideal op amp, no current can enter through the operational amplifier. Now from this expression, we can easily calculate the V naught as a function, as a natural logarithm function of the input voltage Vi. Now, in place of this bipolar junction transistor, you can easily place a diode which will bring you the similar expression over here, but there are a few difficulties that we may face if you place diode. So those difficulties will be clear later when I will discuss a more compact circuit of the logarithm amplifier. Now, what is here also, when I'm using the bipolar junction transistor, there also a limitation exists. So that limitation is due to this one, because this output depends upon this reverse saturation current Is. So if this such kind of circuit depends upon the reverse saturation current Is, then if this circuit will be used to connect a different circuit, or which includes the bipolar junction transistor having different reverse saturation current, then some mismatch will occur, and such kind of mismatch we cannot avoid by using this kind of circuit. In addition to that, this Vt exists over here, and this Vt is basically defining the gain, or is it it is associated with the gain. So gain is depending upon the temperature, because this is thermal voltage. So this is another drawback of this circuit. And this reverse saturation current Is also depends upon the temperature. So there are basically lots of drawback of this circuit. So let's see what is the improved one. In this improved configuration, two logarithmic amplifiers are used where the input is applied one of them and a reference voltage is applied to the other. Now V1 can easily be found using the previous formula that I have obtained by using this logarithmic amplifier. So V1 is equals to minus kT by Q natural logarithm of Vi divided by R1 times Is. Now in this case, two VGTs are, I'm considering the two VGTs are integrated close together within a same silicon wafer. By doing so, we can assume that the reverse saturation current of both of these transistors will be closely equal to each other. Then V2 can also be found using the similar rule. The only difference is that instead of Vi, the V reference will appear in this expression. Here is a basic difference amplifier. Now by giving or by applying the output of from this each of the logarithmic amplifier as an input of the difference amplifier, I'm having this expression which is equals to the difference between them. And V naught can be represented in this way. Now look at here, the one disadvantage of the previous circuit is removed in this circuit. Here Vi in the initial circuit there exists Vi divided by R1 Is, and Is was the reverse saturation current of the transistor or bipolar junction transistor. But here this V reference which exists, and this V reference is basically some external DC voltage that you have applied. Now you have a direct control on the V reference which appears at the denominator of this expression V naught. Still we have this kT by Q, or the Vt thermal voltage we call it, so which it exists in this expression. So this expression still depends upon the temperature. So such kind of temperature dependence expression can also be adjusted by doing this one. So here this RTC is a positive temperature sensitive resistor, and by applying the output from the difference amplifier to the non-inverting terminal of the last stage where the feedback is achieved using these temperature dependent resistance, the positive temperature sensitive resistance. So finally the final output can be written as shown over here. Since RTC is positive temperature sensitive resistance, so when the temperature increases, the resistance of this RTC should increase. Now when temperature increases, this kT by Q gets increased, so does this RTC over here. Now increase of RTC reduces the gain by, as this RTC is appeared at the denominator of this expression. Now by the amount this kT by Q gets increased, but the equivalent amount this gain gets decreased by the effect of RTC. So in this way the temperature compensation circuit, temperature compensated log amplifier can be designed over here. The number of operational amplifiers that are used in the previous circuit were 4. Here another logarithmic amplifier which uses only 2 operational amplifiers, but the configurations are as shown over here. Now from the basic principle of logarithmic amplifier we can identify that this is the Va is the potential appeared as the emitter potential of the transistor Q1, whereas the base voltage is grounded. So from the basic principle of the operational amplifier or of the logarithmic amplifier, we can directly write that Va is equals to minus kT divided by Q times the natural logarithm of Vi divided by Is times R1, because Va is the potential at its emitter and zero potential appeared for its base, and we know in the expression of collector current VBE, which is equals to 0 minus Va, should appear in the expression of these expression of IC is equal to IS times e to the power VB divided by VT. So this negative sign is appearing over here. Next, this VBE2. This VBE2 is basically this VB of the transistor Q2. Now the base potential is the potential across this RTC. So the fraction of the output voltage appearing across the RTC is the base voltage, and VA, which already I have derived, is the potential appearing at its emitter of the transistor Q2. So therefore VBE2 can easily be obtained as shown over here. V0 times RTC divided by R2 plus RTC using the voltage divided rule minus this VA already I have obtained. Again, this VB from the basic rule of the logarithmic amplifier, VB can also be represented as KT divided by Q times natural logarithm of V reference divided by IS times R2. Look at here, no negative sign is appearing over here because directly I have obtained this VB. Negative sign appeared if VEB should be there. But since VB I am considering, so no negative sign, it is just positive sign is appearing over here. Now I just need to replace this VA from this expression, and after replacing this VA, taking this VA on the right side of this equal sign and combining with this one, finally I am obtaining this V0 as shown over here. So V0 can be written over here, and final expression of the V0, if you consider that R2 is equals to R1 is equals to R, this R1 and R2, if you consider both of them are equal, then this expression will become equals to exactly the previous expression where I have used the 4 operational amplifier. So therefore this one is much more improved circuit in comparison to the previous ones. Next is the anti-logarithmic amplifier or anti-log amplifier. So this is the basic circuit diagram for the anti-log amplifier. So first I need to find out this VA and VB. VB is simply the fraction of the input voltage appearing across the temperature centigrade resistor RTC, and VA we can easily obtain since VA is the potential at the emitter terminal of this Q1 which has a grounded base. So we can easily obtain VA as I have obtained in my previous slide as this one. And look at here, in the last case VA was related with the input voltage, but here VA is related with the output voltage because the input voltage of this operational amplifier A1 is connected with the output voltage. So that is why output voltage is appearing over here. Next, VB minus VBA, VB minus VA, which is the base to emitter voltage of the transistor Q2. Therefore, this potential can also be obtained by this expression where the input voltage should be the reference voltage as shown over here. And look at here, no negative sign because the base emitter voltage I am deriving over here. And VB already I told that it is a fraction of the input voltage that is appearing across the RTC. Now the next part is just replacing the VB and VA from here. Now replacing this VB and VA, I am obtaining this expression. Next one is that after a little rearrangement, I should have this one, this expression, and from here, if you multiply these 0.4343 on both sides of this expression, then I can write this natural logarithm as the log of base 10, and this one I am considering except this Vi, which is the input voltage, and I should represent the output voltage in terms of the input voltage. Therefore, other than the Vi, all other constant parameter I am assuming as k dash over here, and this multiplication, as I told, it converts this natural logarithm into the base 10 log, and from here this output voltage can be written as the V reference voltage times 10 to the power minus k dash times Vi. So right now the output voltage became the exponential function of the input voltage, and where the k dash is a function that already I have defined. Next one is the precision rectifier. So first of all, before going to discuss the precision rectifier, we should answer what is a rectifier, and we know the circuit or the device that converts the AC signal into the DC signal, that is a rectifier. But then an obvious question is that since we have a bridge rectifier using diodes or half wave rectifier, full wave rectifier, why we should need this precision rectifier? The answer of this question is already I have answered at the beginning, that any general purpose diode consumes 0.6 volt to 0.7 volt as the cut-in voltage or threshold voltage or knee voltage across it. So the rectification can be done for voltages greater than these voltages, that means either 0.6 to 0.7 volts. So greater than this range, voltages more than this range. So what if we are interested to rectify some signal which has a voltage range less than the 0.6 volt or 600 millivolt range? Then a general purpose diode cannot serve our purpose. That is why we need precision rectifier, where using operational amplifier we can easily rectify the signals with a voltage or the range of voltages falling less than 0.6 volt. Let's see. First of all, I'm going to discuss the basic half wave rectifier, and this is the circuit diagram of a precision half wave rectifier. This diode plays a vital role over here. The input is applied to its non-inverting terminal. There is a feedback from the inverting terminal to the actual output, but this actual output is isolated from the output, immediate output of the operational amplifier V0 dash by this diode. So until this diode becomes forward bias, this V0 dash cannot be connected with this V0. So at the beginning, I'm considering that Vi is equals to 0, so does the output voltage, and the diode is not conducting. And this operational amplifier, I'm considering it is the non-ideal one, and for the non-ideal operational amplifier, I'm assuming the open loop gain is 10 to the power 4, just only 10 to the power 4. Now, when suppose the Vi just increase to a small voltage, that is Vi becomes just 80 microvolt, such a small voltage, since the negative there is a feedback, but since this due to this diode, these 2 points are isolated, so this feedback is not working right now. At the beginning, there is no feedback, although physically there is a feedback, but due to presence of this diode, these 2 points are not connected, so no feedback is working right now. So when you have applied a small voltage of 80 microvolt at its non-inverting terminal, while this operational amplifier is operating as an comparator, since there exists no feedback at the initial point, so the output voltage V0 dash, which is the immediate output of this operational amplifier, will be A times Vi, because it is a comparator and the output voltage was initially 0, so this potential is 0, and you have applied a voltage 80 microvolt which is greater than 0 volt, so the V0 dash immediate output of the operational amplifier becomes A times Vi, and which will be 0.8 volt, which is greater than V gamma, the cut-in voltage of the diode, if it has a some voltage range starting from 0.6 to 0.7. So you can see from here, by applying so small voltage of 80 microvolt, you can make the diode conduct. In general, with the input voltage equals to the threshold voltage divided by its open loop gain, can be used to conduct this diode. And once this diode will be conducted, then this feedback path will be established. And once this feedback path will be established, then already I have explained the buffer or the unity gain amplifier. So this configuration will become the unity gain amplifier. And this output voltage will then follow the input voltage for the positive half cycle, because During the positive half cycle of the input voltage, this diode will be in forward bias, and when the input voltage will be less than the 0.8 or 0.7 volt, which is corresponding to the threshold voltage of the diode. So when the input voltage will be less than the threshold voltage of the diode divided by the open loop gain, only then the diode will be turned off, and the output will be 0, because there exists no feedback path. So the plot or the waveform can be drawn. This is the input waveform. You can see the input varies starting from 0 to 100 millivolt. And the diode what I am using over here, which has a threshold voltage more than 100 millivolt, around 0.6 to 0.7 volt, that means 600 to 700 volt. So the diode is turned off voltage more than 60 microvolt over here, and the rectification can be achieved, the half wave rectification can be achieved for the 100 millivolt signal. So that is why the precision rectifier is so important. Although this circuit explains the basic principle of the half wave precision rectifier, but it has a typical drawback. The drawback is that I have explained that during the positive half cycle, when the input voltage becomes greater than this voltage, that means threshold voltage of the diode divided by the open loop gain of the operational amplifier, then the output voltage should follow the input voltage during the positive half cycle. But during the negative transition, when the input voltage becomes less than this voltage, then this diode will be disconnected, or this diode will be turned off, and that will make this V0 dashed and V0 isolated from each other, and the comparator will fall, this operational amplifier will fall in the comparator mode. And in comparator mode, when the Vi will become less than the 0 voltage, then the output voltage, this V0 dashed, will switch to the minus Vsat, and the output will remain at this minus Vsat during the entire operation of the negative half cycle. And when the input is switching back from the negative half cycle to the positive half cycle, and it will become greater than this voltage, then the output of the operational amplifier should switch from the minus Vsat to the instantaneous input voltage, or instantaneous value of the input voltage. And such kind of switching is not taking place instantaneously, and that is why some delay is introduced at the output, and such kind of delay severely limit the slew rate of the operational amplifier, or slew rate of the precision rectifier. This configuration is an improved one over the previous one, and using this circuit we can prevent this operational amplifier to switch either to the plus Vset or minus Vset. Now initially this terminal is at virtual ground. Due to presence of this diode D2, this R2 and the actual output V out along with this R2 are disconnected or isolated from the immediate output of the operational amplifier V0 dash. And due to presence of this diode D1, these 2 points V0 dash and these 2 points are also isolated. So basically at initial time there exists no feedback, and this operational amplifier is acting as a comparator, where the input voltage is applied to the inverting terminal and the reference voltage, which is a 0 voltage, is applied to its non-inverting terminal. Now during the positive half cycle of the input signal, let's see what is happening. During the positive half cycle, when the input voltage becomes greater than the 0 voltage, and it is becoming just greater than the threshold voltage of the diode D1, then the open loop gain of this operational amplifier multiplied with the input voltage, which is just greater than the threshold voltage of the diode D1, will produce a negative voltage as the immediate output of the operational amplifier as V0 dash, because the input is connected or applied to the inverting terminal. So obviously output will be the negative version of the input. Now input is just greater than the threshold voltage of the diode D1, and the output will be open loop gain multiplied that input voltage. And when it will be multiplied, so automatically the potential or the output voltage will be greater than the threshold voltage of the diode D1. Now
on the N side of the diode D1 is connected with the negative voltage, and the P side of the diode D1 is connected with the zero potential, and the potential difference is greater than its threshold voltage. So automatically the diode D1 will be conducted, and the output voltage V naught dash, the immediate output voltage V naught dash will follow the input voltage. Uh, Not the input voltage, it will be connected to the zero potential. This is the virtual ground, this is at virtual ground, so output V naught dash will be 0. So you can see it is 0, and during that time diode D1 is turned on and diode D2 is turned off. Output is 0. During the negative half cycle, that means this portion, when the input voltage Vi just become less than the threshold voltage of the diode D2, that means this one, the input voltage becomes just less than minus threshold voltage divided by the open loop gain. So automatically the immediate output of the operational amplifier V naught dash will be V gamma, because this input voltage will be multiplied by this open loop gain and it will produce this V gamma. And for this condition, this diode D2 will be conducted but diode D1 will be turned off, because the P side of this diode D2 has a positive voltage is equals to this V gamma, the threshold voltage, and on the other hand, the N side of the diode D1 is connected with another positive voltage, which is V gamma. So that is why this diode D1 is turned off, diode D2 is turned on. Now once this diode D2 is turned on, V naught dash V out gets connected, and this feedback path will be established. And once this feedback path will be established, V out can be written as the inverting configuration, which is equals to minus R2 divided by R1 times Vi. And during this operation, Vi itself negative. This negative sign is appearing due to this inverting configuration of the operational amplifier. Along with that, during this operation, since Vi is negative, the overall output becomes positive. So this output you can have during the operation of negative half cycle, when diode D1 is turned off and diode D2 is turned on. Next is the full wave precision rectifier. This is the actual circuit for the full wave precision rectifier. During the positive half cycle of the input signal, since this input signal is connected with the inverting terminal, the output will have a negative voltage. So when the input voltage is just greater than the threshold voltage divided by the open loop gain of the diode D1, here although I'm assuming the threshold voltages of all the diodes D1 and D2 have the equal requirement. So when the input voltage becomes the threshold voltage divided by open loop gain or greater than that, then a negative voltage, negative V gamma voltage or greater than negative V gamma voltage will appear for this V naught dash, and that will make this diode D1 conducting, keeping this diode D2 turned off. And during that part of the input voltage, the equivalent circuit can be drawn as shown over here. Since diode D2 is turned off, so this part is not connected, and since this diode D1 is turned on, so this feedback path will be established, and these are and these are will be considered as another inverting configuration. So the V naught dash will be minus Vi, because the output will be R2 by R1, since R2 and R1 both are equal. So V naught dash will be equal to minus Vi, and due to presence of the another inverting configuration, the final output will be Vi. This is for positive half cycle when Vi becomes greater than V gamma divided by A. Next one is that when the opposite case is appearing, that is when Vi becomes less than or minus V gamma divided by A, then the positive voltage will appear for this V naught dash, and that will make this diode D1 turned off, but this diode D2 turned on. When this diode D2 is turned on, the equivalent circuit can be drawn as shown over here. So this R is connected between this terminal to V naught dash as well as this terminal over here. And since the potential at this point is assumed as V naught dash, so the similar potential will be reflected at this terminal, because I'm considering the infinite open loop gain for the operational amplifier A2. So this terminal, this potential at this point also will be V0 dash. Now at this node I'm applying the KCL. With the KCL I can write this expression, that is Vi divided by R, the current along this direction, the current which is entering to this node from this branch, so that can also be written as V0 dash divided by 2R, and another current which is entering to the node through this branch can be written as V0 dash divided by R. So finally from here we can calculate V0 dash is equals to minus 2/3 times of Vi. Next is that another KCL we need to apply with respect to this node. So with respect to this node, the current V0 dash divided by 2R is leaving this node, whereas this current V0 minus V0 dash divided by R is entering or coming towards this node. So the negative sign is appearing before this V0 dash divided by 2R as it is leaving, and V0 minus V0 dash divided by R is positive because it is entering or incoming towards this node. So from there, this actual V0 or output voltage can be obtained as 3 divided by 2 times V0 dash, and this V0 dash also I have obtained as minus 2 divided by 3 times Vi. Upon replacement of that, I am getting V0 is equals to minus Vi. But during that time, Vi itself negative. This negative sign here I am obtaining due to this configuration, inverting configuration. But during that time, Vi itself negative. So that is why the negative sign of the input voltage along with the negative sign of this configuration is making the total output voltage positive during this part of the input voltage. And finally, the output voltage can be obtained as shown over here for the input voltage shown over here, and such kind of output can be obtained for 100 millivolt range, 50 millivolt, 200 millivolt. That means less than the threshold voltage of the diode itself. So that is why this is the precision rectifier, full wave precision rectifier, and these are the conditions for the positive half cycle, and this is the condition for the negative half cycle. And for that I have obtained this Vi for positive half cycle and also Vi for the negative half cycle.